it's my pleasure to introduce our guest author tonight. Greg Picard finished his bachelor's degree in English, specializing in creative writing and American literature. After getting his master's in education and counseling, he worked as a teacher, counselor, musician, law enforcement ranger, firefighter medic, and railroad brakeman. So he clearly has plenty of material to draw from. He's written over a dozen novels and short story collections and co-authored some of them with his daughter. So won't you help me give Greg a warm welcome?
Well, it won't take a long time reading tonight, but I do have a couple of pages. We're on here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I have a short story collection. I spend most of my time writing longer novels, but over the years I've managed to collect a number of short stories, and so we finally put them all together in one book. It's called Captain's Log, and it's uncensored, so there are a few things in there that are maybe revealing. But anyway, I thought I'd pick this one that I began the book with. It's called Boat Patrol. And that was one of the things in the various parks that I worked in over the years that I got to do, which is a kind of a strange job in the long run. Every day out there baking in the sun, and you see all sorts of things that you never imagined that you would see happen. Boat Patrol, the Coast Guard of the State Water Project. In the first 7 weeks of summer, Lake Oroville temperature topped 110 degrees each day. I had come from Humboldt Redwoods, and when I could see through the fog enough to make out the temperature reading on the thermometer there, it never went over 80. In Oroville, I would pass the time and temperature tower downtown, and even at midnight, it read 99 degrees. Working the lake was a definite shock. I worked boat patrol primarily, so the humidity was 100%. The mornings would try to fool you with cool, damp breezes that slapped the rigging ropes against the aluminum sailboat masts in the marina. But by mid-morning, there was utter stillness and no shade. The sweat would frisk about with gay abandon in the small of my back, the diamond brilliance of sunlight reflected on the water with enough glare to make one suspect the whole place was radioactive. In addition, the concept of extreme sports fit well here. I fully expected needlepoint skydiving to be the rage any day. This was a place where 12-year-olds could still drive boats while dad water skied, hoping that little sister, as the official observer, could form the words, "Dada, fall down." It's no wonder I sometimes broke out in an allergic rash when I was around water skiers. Even boating under the influence of alcohol arrests had no good standards. Imagine trying to do a field sobriety test on the bobbing deck of a speedboat on a busy day. "Just stand on one foot, sir, and touch your nose with your eyes shut." And after you fished them out of the water, you skipped the balance test and just went to the "do I pass out from breathing the same air" test. The work we did and the recreation use patterns were just a bit different from what I'd seen in the Redwoods. And here's an example of one visitor. 8:05 a.m., step 1. Visitor begins the day at the boat dock marina store, measuring equal amounts of gasoline and alcohol beverages into the boats. 8:15 a.m., step 2. Visitor whose major cultural achievement was an assault and battery conviction roars out of 5-mile-an-hour zone, leaving a wake that later strikes Alaska as a tsunami. 8:20 a.m., step 3. Visitor throws all fishing gear and all life preservers out of rented boat, and having made more room, returns to dock for more Budweiser. 8:30, step 4. Visitor attempts to bring boat to a full plane at the dock before untying the lines as they leave. Then, a genuine celebration of civilization's invention of the circle, he performs a warp speed donut in the channel. 9:45 a.m. Visitor returns to dock for cooler cups to keep drinks from actually coming to a boil in cans left in direct sunlight. 10 a.m. step 6. My mother always taught me to be sure to wave with more than one finger. Visitor, who is the product of a toe fungus cloning experiment and had no mother, gives the international three-finger amputee wave of friendship to the ranger standing at the dock as he roars off. 11 a.m., visitor reaches West Fork of the Feather River, and when stopped by Boat Patrol Ranger, claims his passengers are not actually skinny dipping, but that he's using these naked Chico State cheerleaders as lures to troll for largemouth bass. Ranger has long radio transmission with Chief Ranger on how to successfully prosecute largemouth visitors. 3 p.m., in complete violation of FAA regulations, a pontoon plane lands on the North Fork of the river looking like Mel Gibson in Air America, all to make a beer drop to the visitors. 10 p.m., visitor runs out of gas, but fortunately, naked cheerleaders and beer are left in large quantity. Like sharks that can't breathe unless they move to flow water over their gills, I moved across the water to stay cool. The green shimmering water felt like it had just been used to boil crabs and made me actually long for the 3 months I'd spent as an interpretive ranger in an air-conditioned office making plastic castings of raccoon droppings. One day I watched a carp the size of Nebraska roll and descend into the deep under the West Fork Bridge, and I envied it its escape from the heat. It was no wonder everyone wanted to be in the water. Unfortunately, with so many boats on a lake with 167 miles of shoreline, some sank in that water, and someone was always in trouble. I frequently found boaters 15 miles from the marina with no gas or a thrown rod in their engine, and they often had these low-bid motors, like my state park department bought. Our motors smoked so badly that we navigated by radar. Violators often knew how to avoid us by the smell and the smoke trail of our motors. And in spite of that, I still managed to write a lot of tickets. But all too frequently, I became the friendly tow service. I have to say, there is no more amazing job than being a park ranger. I loved it.
Wow.